Chavez was just warming up. Exxon had begun tapping into Venezuela's heavy tar oils in the Orinoco Basin. Despite rising oil prices, Exxon figured the government should be satisfied with a 1% tax on the profits. Chavez changed that to a 16% tax. Shell Oil and other foreign extractors had made a habit of not paying taxes on their oil windfalls. Shell, when handed the back tax bill, balked and was surprised to find itself in 2005 bounced out of a lucrative natural gas project. Chavez redirected the gas, meant for export, back to Venezuela's own consumers. Venezuela has landless citizens by the millions. It also has unused land by the millions of acres locked up in fallow plantations on which a tiny elite has squatted for 4 centuries. In 2001, a new law required selling untilled land to the landless. It was a program long promised by Venezuelan politicians at the urging of John F. Kennedy as part of his Alliance for Progress. Progress waited for Chavez. Heinz Ketchup's Venezuela division didn't like the new terms for doing business and shut its plants in the state of Maturin. Venezuela seized the multinational's property and put the workers back to work. Pat Robertson was not the first to suggest terminating Chavez with prejudice. The very good chess player simply instituted a kind of assassination tax on U.S. oil companies. Every time a new plot to shoot the president was foiled, Chavez's tax authorities would send another bill for those back taxes. Shell Oil was hit with a new $130 million tax bill and got the point. In June 2004, neocon Otto Reich, friend of the coup plotters, was disemployed by the U.S. State Department. And what does Chavez do with Shell Oil's tax money? In Caracas, I met with a reporter for the TV station whose owner is generally credited with backing the failed 2002 coup. She pointed to the ranchos, the slums above Caracas, where homes, most made of cardboard and tin, were quickly changing into blocks and cement. He gives them bread and bricks, so they vote for him, of course. She was disgusted. By them, she means the 80% of Venezuela which is negro e indio, black and Indian. This poor, dark 80% had, until Chavez ran for president, left the running of government and the spending of the nation's wealth to the minority white 20%. The bread and bricks and jobs and new health clinics are intimately tied to the ebb and flow of capital, and now Chavez was standing in its way. In early 2003, his government overturned the keystone of borderless globalization and imposed controls on the movement of capital. The Wall Street Journal reported with surprise that instead of economic doom, quote, the controls trapped liquidity within the economy, which led in part to reduced interest rates and helped boost economic activity. Lots of economic activity. In 2005, their economy grew by 9%, highest in the Western Hemisphere, following a blazing 18% in 2004, with the biggest boosts occurring in the non-oil sector. Government services for health, education, and food subsidies didn't drain the economy, as flat world globalizers predicted, but added to economic demand and productivity. Chavez then waded further into the rushing flow of international finance to build another economic dam. His backers in Venezuela's Congress voted to require all private banks to dedicate 20% of their lending portfolio to microloans for small businesses and small plot farmers. As a result, a large portion of the oil wealth in Venezuela would have to stay there, barred from flowing northward, as is the custom with petrodollars. Most important, 20% of the working class's savings would be channeled back to it, rather than rising upward to fund the extravagant high-rises in Caracas.